Mr. Tulsian is also with us. Mr. Tulsian, hi, welcome to the show. A disaster debut for Repco. It's down 5.5% right now. Where do you see that one stabilize?
See, Sonia, in fact, it was expected that, there was a very dull response from the retail space. In fact, maybe the institutional investors have come to the rescue of this issue. But I don't find much, negative in the stock, because nothing was really expected. Yes, the price was seen aggressive. Nothing was really left on the table for the investors and all sort of things. But I don't think that there is any kind of worry, because if you really see the quality of the performance in the housing finance space and price to earning multiple of maybe close to about 11 times. The only worrying point is that in the last 3 years there has been a drop in the NIM margin. The net interest margin, which was at about 5% plus, has fallen to about sub 4%. So that was a worry, but this whole thing was known. So maybe yes, the stock should settle at the current level. I don't think that much downside can really be seen. One can expect to see the stock moving in the range of about 150 to 165 maybe next couple of months. This is really not the stock for the retail investors, those who who track the stocks on a daily basis. But yes, I don't find it anything wrong. If you have a longer term horizon, even the buying can be contemplated at a level of about 150 to 155.
Mr. Tulsian, afternoon. Your view on L&T, and after that order win of around 5,689 crores from the Rajasthan Power Unit, what would your recommendation be at around 1,400 rupees?
See, in fact, coming in this situation, the kind of order flow the L&T has been getting at a frequent interval, definitely an order of this size will definitely be cheering the market when the company will be announcing their Q4 numbers. Because if you really see for the last 2 or 3 quarters, in spite of a slight shrinkages in their core business of the engineering and construction, but the order flow, because the order flow has been very healthy, and the company has been conveniently able to maintain their EBIT margin at close to about 10%. So order flow is a big comfort for the company whenever they announce their Q4 numbers, and coming in such a big order is really a big positive. And apart from that, what I have noticed in the Mumbai space, that all the real estate companies, those who are going with the construction of the towers, multi-story towers of about 50 story and above, are going for the contract or giving the contract to L&T, because L&T only seems to be enjoying that kind of capability and competence. So yes, the frequent order flow, in spite of such a negative or gloomy situation prevailing in the economy, if they are able to mop up such kind of orders once the table turns, then definitely that will be seen quite advantageous. And apart from that, the share is ruling at its lower end of the valuation. You can't say that 1400 looks to be the stretch valuation. If it would have ruled at about 1600 or 1650 kind of things, then probably the cautious view would have been taken. So 80 rupees EPS for the FY13, if you factor in a normal growth of about 12% also, one can expect an EPS of close to about 90 rupees. I think taking all this into consideration, the stock looks quite good even at the current level from the investment point of view.
Yeah, Mr. Tulsian, what is your view on Novartis India and the developments on the Supreme Court judgment on Glyvic?
See, definitely it is negative for the company, but if you really see all the MNCs, the pharma MNCs which have been operating in our country, practically they have not been spending anything on the R&D, nothing, the new products were getting introduced. That is the reason, in fact, we have been seeing the dull performance of all these companies, and that's the reason even the valuations given to them are quite low, maybe in a P multiple of anywhere between 12 to 15. Even Novartis, having posted an EPS of 29 rupees for 9 months, is ruling at a 575. That means at a P multiple of close to about 15. While the Indian companies, whether you take this Cipla, Dr. Reddy, they are all ruling at a P multiple of 20. So all these pharma MNCs have been dull and boring, but yes, because of this negative judgment in favor of the Supreme Court, because the appeal of the Novartis has been dismissed, so the share has corrected, but sooner or later I think it will bounce back and settle at around 600 to 615, 20 or so. But nothing upside, we've seen in the stock in the near future, or maybe in the next 6 to 8 months as well.
Mr. Tulsian, do you think DLF has the potential to get back closer to that 290 levels that it saw at the start of March?
See, Sonia, I have been in fact talking on this stock for last couple of months, and if you recall, last week also we have discussed when I said that now the stock makes a good buy, and I have been keeping my the resistance level or maybe the upside capped at 285, which I have in fact repeatedly narrated that level maybe in last couple of months or so. So probably this time also the kind of up move which we have seen can make the stock to the move to the level of 275, 280. But again, 285 is seen to be its resistance again, where the profit booking will come in, because now this stock is giving a very exciting trading pattern within this range of 240 or maybe 235 to 285, where the people, maybe the strong hands are playing within that range or within that band.
Mr. Tulsian, did you manage looking at Opto Circuits and the news that they'd be selling off a part of their products in the cardiology space in the US for $21 million? Any difference in terms of debt levels at all, you would think?
Yes, I've seen that news, and in fact I was expecting that probably the positive effect will, is going to be reflected into the share price, but that has not come. Obviously, all this indicates, in fact, this is just a start, that the management have taken some initiative or some action to pay the debts of the company, which should in fact instill the confidence. But sometimes, you may not have the immediate reaction into the share price, because lot of technical positions, plays a very important role. You have the long shorts, created, the under ownership kind of thing, some value buying also needs to come in. In fact, we have seen that happening on Thursday. A lot of buying has happened in last 1 hour, and that was it. That was indicating that some news or some policy initiative must have been taken by the company. So maybe if this process continues, or maybe once people, digest this news, probably this will be having the positive effect on the stock price, and one can feel that the downside seems to have got arrested in the share.
One final comment, Mr. Tulsian, before we wrap for the day. Godrej Properties and the management's comments that they've sold 150 apartments within 3 days of launching their affordable housing segment in Ahmedabad. How are you positioned on the stock in general?
See, Sonia, I am not taking a very positive view, because the kind of rising cost of construction, what has generally happened, that all these developers have sold, many of these premises well in advance, and this is of the affordable housing, so obviously the realizations are lower, and when by the time you will be completing the project, if there is any delay in execution, obviously that will be seen quite negative. Your margins will get shrunk. And second is moving into the redevelopment of in the Mumbai space. They have gone into the Malad and Chembur, and I don't think that even the redevelopment is such a very such an exciting space to go into for a company like corporates and all that. So maybe I'm not too excited with both these news flows.
Mr. Tulsian, I didn't get a chance to actually ask you about a lot of these divestment candidates such as STC, Hindustan Copper, Dredging Corp, HMT, ITI. All of these stocks were gaining quite significantly today. Any news, or is it just that bit of a rally that we see in terms of speculation on divestment?
See, again, Ekta must be, the handful traders, those who have been, sitting on the good chunk of the stock must be playing in this. I don't think that there is any kind of news. In fact, whenever the disinvestment will happen or the OFS will happen from the government, obviously that will bring down the valuations of these companies further. Maybe in STC things will not happen so much, because the 91% stake is not very significant. Government has not really taken that up for pruning their for pruning their stake. But we have seen that happening in case of MNTC. So I won't be giving a positive call on any of these stocks, to look into.
Mr. Tulsian, one question to you with regard from the pharma space. Auto Pharma did follow up that 10% rally with a 4% rally today. So how are you watching that stock, considering that it has corrected around 15-20% in this year itself?
I'm keeping my positive stance, Nigel, because in fact, if you see the clearances which they've got the last week, probably that was the trigger, and the kind of correction which we have seen into the stock price has made the stock, oversold, under-owned. So all factors, has been positive for the stock to move up, and one can, still expect an upside of maybe, because I was giving a target of about 165 or so on Thursday when we discuss on the stock. So maybe a further upside of about 11-12 rupees can be expected in the stock.
Okay, so that's